With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, $29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.
You couldn't get rid of us that easily. No way, no how. It's Asian baseball today. I'm your host, Dan Alexander, and we are happy to be back. The break is over, which means it's time to dive in with the boys. I got with me Tokyo Brandon and Adam Trigger. Guys, we're back at it like we never left. Trig, I'll start with you, man. How was the break for you? I know MLB was kind of off as well, so you kind of probably got a nice little respite, man. How's it been going?
Oh yeah, no question. A couple days off is always nice, but listen, I mean, this is like what we do is bet games and watch games, and it's like 4 days of no games. Well, the MLB is back, but it's just nice to have it back. So we've had baseball all afternoon. We're back in action in Korean baseball in the morning. I've got a 5% play up at WagerTalk for Korean baseball, and we're going to break the rest of the games out on the show. So it's nice to be back with Tokyo Brandon talking baseball, and we got a long second half. Korean baseball goes way deep, I think, into November. So in for the long haul here. Looking forward to it.
Yep, saddle in because you're stuck with us all the rest of the way. Tokyo Brandon, I know your little break was solid because NPB, Japanese baseball, was still going, and correct me if I'm wrong, 3 5%ers cashed for the clients this week. So I know the clients probably are happy, but how are you doing, man?
We're back in the saddle again. Yes. Hey, I was on WagerTalk today with there she is. I was on WagerTalk today with the Prez twice because there was some of our cappers take this week off, but Japanese baseball still going strong. Had some arguments about Prez over whether Kiss is the best rock band of all time, which I think they are. He obviously does not. So anyways, it was good. I won 3 5% plays in the last 3 days, which is nice. Number one capper in the last 30 days, all sports. So it's going well. And I'm really happy that Korean baseball is back because the schedule-wise, it works out great because Japanese baseball takes their pause on Friday, and Korean baseball is just starting up right now. And my record's actually better in Korean baseball. So even though my background is in Japanese baseball. So yeah, ready to go. Let's get it. WagerTalk's doing specials right now where anything over $25 is half off. So you can get a one-day pass for any of your WagerTalk cappers right now for under $20, which is great value. I have about 4 or 5 plays out today, so that would be a great value, great time to use it on that.
Man, with that sales pitch, did Tokyo Brandon just turn into Steve Merrill for just 1 second? That was a solid sales pitch right there.
I'm not as nice as Steve, though.
That's fair. So, guys, I say we get right into it because because the people want to know what's been going on in Korean baseball. Well, right before the break, SSG started putting their stranglehold back on this league as they're now 4.5 games up on Kiwoom. Kiwoom still keeping it interesting. LG, the only other team crossing that 50-win threshold. KT and Kia, they're still knocking at the door, and then you got the best, or I guess the worst of the rest, following the bottom of the rankings there with Lotte, Doosan, Samsung, and then NC still keeping Hanwha at arm's length. So I don't know, guys. We might never see NC in the last spot again for the rest of the season with the mark that they've been putting on it. We will see, though. We'll find out. Maybe that's a bit of a hot take. But, Brandon, I want to throw it your way because with this break being over, we're entering the second half, or second three-fourths is what it feels like. And you wanted to talk a little bit about the first half of games, even though we're falling into the second half of the season. So a little first 5 numbers that you wanted to run by the folks. Floor is yours, my guy.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, runs in the first 5. I also want to talk about runs after a break. But I have improved my graphic skills over the time off with no show. So you can see my handy-dandy graphic here. It no longer looks like cookie dough kindergarten graphics, so it might be a little small, but the top there you can see first 5, and I've ranked the teams. How well do they score in the first 5? And this is all season long. You can see that KT, SSG, LG, and Samsung are the best first 5 scoring teams, and probably no coincidence that they're 1, 2, 3, 4 or in the top echelon of the rankings. So that's kind of a nice thing. If you're going to try and cap without Adam in my advice, these are some graphics you can kind of base your... I wouldn't base a cap on this data alone. But, when I'm debating between, if I like Samsung in the first 5 in this game, I'll look at this and I'll say, yeah, maybe I'll bump that up to a 4% best bet. So it's something to kind of put you over the line, or push you over that line if you were kind of on the fence. The bottom graphic I'd like to look at is how teams perform on Tuesdays. So this is the last 6 weeks. And as you know, Asian baseball is very rigid in their scheduling, and Mondays are always off. So it's nice to see how does a team perform when they have a day off. So that would be good for today, because the last 8 days, Korean baseball was off. So how do teams perform when they have a day off or after a rest? So it's kind of interesting to see that KT and Doosan are the best performing teams after they've had a rest. Now, I wouldn't base a cap completely on this, but like I said, if you're on the fence about something and you're like, I don't know about this, and then I look at this and say, wow, KT really explodes after they have a rest, that's something to maybe push you over the edge on take that graphic off. That's my best bet. So that's something to push you over. We'll get to that one later. Well, something to push you over. Hey, there she is. So teams that perform well after a rest typically are KT, Doosan. They explode in runs after a rest. And LG performs quite well after a rest as well. Teams that perform poorly after a rest are NC, Hanwha, and Samsung. So, like I said, this isn't something to base your play or your whole handicap on. But if you're deciding, should I go this way or that way, it's kind of something to do. So take a screenshot of that and use it until our next show. That's all I got for that.
There you go. Some first half numbers and a well-oiled machine we are right out of the break. It's how we do it here on Asian Baseball Today. So while Tokyo Brandon was taking some graphic design classes and getting ready to go for our show here, Adam was breaking down each and every team and compiling his own little power rankings as we head out of the All-Star break. What do you got for him, Trig?
Yeah, so, Dan, I thought, there's so many moving parts right now with injuries and players coming back and stuff that I'm just going to go 1 through 10. Now, this is not the standings. This is not where I think these teams are going to finish necessarily, but this is the rate. This is how I power rate the teams coming out of the break right now. Number 1, the team I've had there all year, SSG. I said that they were the best team in this league coming into the season. They won the first half, and I think they made the necessary moves to still be the best team coming out of the break. They're going to add Juan Lagares, new import player. They're going to they've replaced Kevin Crone with Juan Lagares, and they replaced Ivan Nova with Sean Moramondo. Both of these guys should be in very quickly. Within the next week or so, we should see them. Jong-Hoon Park is coming back soon. That'll be a nice boost. Seungwon Moon came back before the break. SSG has been the best team all year, and they've pushed, in my opinion, they made the right moves to still be the best team going forward. Now, here's where a lot of people might disagree with me, but I have the Kia Tigers as number 2. And there's a big caveat there, so let me explain. Kia Tigers, I think, when healthy, are the second best team in this league. Their offensive numbers suggest that. Now, they're going to be without Socrates Brito for another 3 weeks, but they will get him back. Chan-Ho Park comes off the DL. He'll be ready to go for this weekend series. And the only real issue that Kia had was the pitching, because they went at it in the first half without 2 import starters for the past couple months. But Sean Nolan is coming back. Thomas Pannone is going to Pannone is going to pitch tomorrow. So he's going to be the starter out of the gate for Kia tomorrow morning. So as of right now, the biggest issue that they had was their bullpen, and their pitching was very fatigued. Now they get the 8 days off. I expect them to play much better than they were going into the break. Now, the team I would have had second, but I'm going to bump down to third, is the KT Wiz. The reason being, Baek Ho Kang is still going to be out for another month, and we saw KT struggle without him earlier this year. They're also missing Woo Jun Shin, who's their shortstop, one of the best defensive players in the entire league. He'll probably be out for another week, but that'll be an interesting situation to monitor because he has kind of a nagging injury there. Just real quick, the rest of the way, LG Twins, I mean, they're going to get Robel Garcia eventually, so that could be a nice boost for them, but I don't trust I still think their starting pitching's a little sketchy. I put them at 4. I'm putting Kiwoom at 5 because I have to expect some regression. Everything that went their way in the first half, they were as fortunate of a team as you could have. So in my opinion, they can only regress. I just don't see them putting together they were 54-32 in the first half. I don't see any way Kiwoom can match that, so I'm going to bump them down to 5th. I then have NC 6th because they're healthy, and they're probably going to get Wes Parsons back. Lotte swapped out DJ Peters for Zach Rex as far as the import player is concerned. I think they'll probably hang out. I have them 7. I don't know that Lotte really can make a run at the playoffs, even though they are sort of close. Samsung Lions are 8 to me. I put Doosan 9. I know people probably have them higher, but I think they're the team where if they get further and further away from the playoffs, they're just going to give up. That's what I think is going to happen with Doosan is they would just completely give up once they can't make the playoffs. And Hanwha, I have to put them at 10, but I think we're going to see an improvement out of Hanwha in the second half. They're going to get Si-Hwan Roh back. They have Ramirez and Pena are both in the starting rotation now. They're far healthier, and they have so many more weapons than they did for the majority of the first half of the season. So it'll be a tall task for them to play their way out of the basement, but I would not be surprised if Hanwha, if we did these power rankings a month or 2 from now, if Hanwha was higher than 10th. I think there's room for improvement there. But that's my order, and I still have been saying this for a while. I don't think the top 5 is ever going to change. I think that's your playoff picture right there. I think it's going to be SSG, Kia, KT, LG, and Kiwoom, and it'll just be a matter of who finishes 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But I think that is your playoff teams for this season. Those teams in the top 5, I don't think they ever get threatened. I think they just continue to create distance between the bottom 5 teams, which just aren't nearly as good.
There you go. The official Trigger Metrics Power Rankings as we head on into the second half of the season following the All-Star break. So good stuff there by Trig. I mean, a great little rundown there. If you want to rewind, you're kind of new to KBO. That's a great way to start and roll on into the second half of the season. Speaking of rolling, boys, let's get into our featured game here. Figures to be a good one. LG, a slight money line favorite as they're taking on NC. We got LG at minus 145. Looks like could be on the move. NC Dinos at around like a plus 150 take back. That's kind of moving as well. Total 7.5. So, Trig, I'm going to throw it right back your way. Get your thoughts here on the featured game for today, because I know there's a side that you think could potentially be pulling an outright.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I look at this matchup. I see Casey Kelly and Chang Mo Koo. I don't see much separating those two. Kelly, he's 12-1, 2.28 ERA, 1.06 WHIP. You got Koo, smaller sample size, 0.99 ERA, 0.99 WHIP, but he looks very much like the guy that dominated this league in 2020 before he got hurt and missed the entire 21 season. So starting pitching's pretty close. Normally, I'd give LG a bullpen edge, but I think having 8 days off and the fact that NC is probably going to get Wes Parsons back soon sort of eliminates the bullpen edge there, because NC is going to have some fresh arms out of the bullpen as well. The other thing here is Rabel Garcia is going to make his debut for LG, but it looks like that's a couple days off. It doesn't look like that's going to happen until next week. Or I think it's going to be the first game of the next series. So even though there's this hype around Rabel Garcia joining LG, I don't think he's going to play until the SSG series next week. So just looking at that, I'll leave it, Brandon, to actually break this game down for you. But for me, I look at those factors and the fact that NC is as healthy as they've been all season. Even they are still without Son, but other than that, they got Kunwoo Park back a few games before the All-Star break. I would take a shot here with NC. I think there's value on the money line, but the plus 1.5, NC plus 1.5 was only minus 130 when I checked about an hour ago. I think that's a solid bet. I could see LG squeaking this game out like they always find a way to and winning by a run, but NC plus 1.5 covers you in a one-run game. That being said, I like Koo. I think he could outpitch Casey Kelly here, and I wouldn't be surprised if NC took this game. So my lean here is the Dinos plus 1.5. I think they get it. I think they find a way to get the money against that number.
Looking towards the Dinos and the dog. Brandon, agree, disagree? You have anything on the total? What are you tracking in our first featured game on back on the circuit?
I agree with almost everything. I agree that both of these starting pitchers are fairly equal. Koo Chang Mo is back to his 3 year ago form. He's amazing. He's got a 0.99 WHIP. Casey Kelly, a 103 WHIP or 106 WHIP, 89 to 22 strikeout ratio. So yeah, I agree. These starting pitchers are fairly equal when you look at them. The strikeout ratio, they don't walk anybody. I mean, both of them. Koo Chang Mo walks 2.77 per 9. Kelly walks 2.01 per 9. So I give Kelly a slight edge, but it's negligible actually. Where I see a difference in this game is the fact that Koo Chang Mo rarely goes past the 5th inning, where Casey Kelly generally will pitch through 7. And granted, I agree with Adam's analysis that the bullpen advantage for LG is slightly negligible because of the long break. I like LG's lineup a little bit better here. So if I were going to bet this game, I would bet LG on the money line. But I do agree with Adam's NC plus 1.5 as well, because this has all the makings of a 3-2, 4-3 game. So I think if you can get runs for anything better than minus 150, I think that's a good bet. But I would roll with LG on the money line just because I think they're a better complete team, a better bullpen and a better lineup. It's pretty simple. But yeah, this has all the makings of a 3-3 into the 10th inning, 4-3 win for either way. But I like LG. I like LG on the money line.
So we could potentially get the Asian Baseball Today dream outcome and get LG by 1 run, cash both of them. And crazier things have happened. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility there. So 2 different looks, 2 different ways to attack the game, kind of following similar handicaps there. Interesting stuff from our guys Tokyo Brandon and Adam Trigger. Let's get into our series preview. You guys making it nice and easy on me because no, we're not looking at Japanese baseball. We're not even looking at 2 different series. We're looking at the Samsung Lions and the Kiwoom Heroes. Brandon, I want to hear your thoughts on this one first. You know, it's always going to be the rest versus rust with these teams having a little bit of time off. Do you see this as more of a opportunity for Kiwoom to maybe inch closer to SSG, or how are you just kind of planning to bet this series in general, Brandon?
So an interesting stat about when these 2 teams get together is in previous shows you've seen I give runs per game in the matchups. These 2 teams have played each other several times this season. And the average runs per game is a shocking 6.3, which is really low. The typical runs per game in a typical KBO game is 8.9. So these 2 teams get together, it's generally a low-scoring affair. And today's game has Choi Won-tae, one of the best Korean pitchers, against Amu Jin, who this year is making a case. He's definitely a top 3 homegrown Korean starting pitcher. Koo Chang-mo probably takes the cake there as number 1, but Amu Jin is definitely a top 3. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of unders in this series. If you see team totals of 3.5 for either team, I would be inclined to bet an under on that. Samsung's bullpen is bad, which scares me, but they do have one of the best relief pitchers in the game, and he's going to be available today, obviously, after an 8-day break. So today, I wouldn't be scared betting an under in this if it's 8, 8.5, or any team totals that are 3.5. Or if you see a team total at 4.5, I would jump all over the under in that. So I'm going to be looking at a lot of unders in this series, but especially today, because Samsung's Achilles heel is that horrible bullpen. I have them ranked 10 out of 10. They have a collective 1.66 whip. They're not good, but they do have all of their horses ready to go today. So today I'm going to be looking at an under, but in the next 3 games, if you see a game total of 8 or 8.5, you might want to roll with an under there. Or if you see any team totals 4.5, I would roll with an under in that as well.
Looking towards the unders, and in true Asian Baseball Today coming back today fashion, well, Adam Trigger, who was pulling the Triple Crown today, he filled in on WagerTalk today. Then he was on First Pitch. Now he's on ABT. Well, he just completely realized, hey, I actually wasn't going to talk Kiwoom and Samsung. So, Trig, I understand. It's been a long day. We'll take the training wheels off for today. And you want to talk about this Kia Lotte series. Interestingly enough, your best bet also comes in that. So how are you attacking the preview? And why not just roll right on into your best bet too?
Yeah, this is the one I always intended to break down. I just copied. I looked at what Brandon was going to talk about and just rewrote that for some reason. So, yeah, we'll go right in and give you a preview of Kia versus Lotte. And going back to my power ratings, you know, I really like this Kia team. I think I'm a week or 2 away from really stepping in with them because, remember, they're still without Brito. They're going to get him back. And they've got a couple other guys that are coming back, like Sean Nolan. We don't know exactly when he's going to come back, but he will be back. And so Kia's a team that I want to play on. In this scenario, I still like them here. Like they're an underdog in Friday's game, which I'll save for best bets. But the way I'm just looking at this series in general, it is Lotte has to be a fade for me right now. I don't think this, like, they get rid of DJ Peters, who was okay. He wasn't great. I don't know that he was killing them, but they weren't getting a ton out of him. So I understand why they want to make the change there. I don't know that Rex will be any better. He could be worse. But they're really, in my opinion, that's kind of like an even swap. And they're really, the Giants are a very poor defensive team, which last year they were pretty good defensively. So, you know, they're still without a couple of their starters who went down earlier in the year. We'll see if they get them back. But the Lotte Giants team that's taking the field right now, in my opinion, is just they're a subpar baseball. They're a subpar KBO team in this league. So I look at the weekend coming up. Kia's now had 8 days to rest all their pitchers, because that was the big issue with their pitching, was they were overworked and they just had an 8-day break. And now you already get one of the import starters in the mix, because Pannone is going to go tomorrow. So even if Nolan doesn't come back till that next week, that's fine, because it's a short week and they already got one of their imports back. So in my opinion, Kia here is a far better team than Lotte. And even though they have to face Charlie Barnes in the opener, they've hit him well. So I'll go right into my best bet for the show. It's the Kia Tigers in the opener of this series, plus 105. I already talked about Pannone. He'll make his second KBO appearance, but I like the fact that he's now had 8 days to sort of get acclimated to Korea. That's a big thing when guys come over middle of the year, because they want to rush them. They want to rush the import pitcher into the or position player into the lineup, and they don't really give him time to get acclimated to just life in Korea. So I love the fact that they got him in before the break. He's had a week off to just kind of gather his bearings, and now he'll make his second appearance or third appearance tomorrow. I think that sets up nicely for him. And, Kia, Charlie Barnes has had a good year, but Kia has absolutely slammed him when they've seen him. And they hit lefties extremely well. So I think that this is, Lotte does not hit lefties well at all. So even though you're going to have to beat Barnes here, and the game is in Busan, which is they have one of the better home field advantages in KBO from a atmosphere standpoint, but Lotte really hasn't played well at home so far this year. So I think it all adds up nicely for Kia here. I'd look to take the Kia Tigers plus 105. I think the wrong team's favored. I really think with you put these two teams next to each other, I would make Kia the favorite. And for that reason, I like Kia plus 105 as my best bet for the show.
A WTF line, wrong team favored. Taking the underdog is our guy, Adam Trigger. And see what happens? I give these guys a compliment, say, hey, you made it so easy on me, and we still have to have a curveball throw my way. So appreciate it. We understand, and still worthy looking towards a dog. There is Adam Trigger. And I want to remind you before we get to Brandon's best bet, both of these guys have big tickets loaded right this moment. 5% plays. You can go over and grab them at WagerTalk.com. Hop in there and ride with the guys, even if they want to give me headaches here at the end of the show. So that's what it's all about. It's all the name of the game here. So Brandon, which way are you looking for your best bet? I know that we were hot on these for a while. We were cashing them straight like crazy. So let's try and get back into form with some free winners for the folks. Gives them a little extra money to buy your guys' packages. What do you got for them today, Brandon?
Absolutely. So as handicappers, basically our job is to predict the future. So when you're trying to predict the future, what you like to do is take the most consistent things and rely on those as your path going forward. So going to be hard pressed to find anything more consistent than Kim Kwang-hyun has been for the SSG Landers this season. He's been absolutely incredible. He's actually a major league caliber pitcher. How incredible has he been? He has a 105 whip, and he has a 0.67 first five ERA. So he's been incredible. So SSG is going up against Doosan today, and Robert Stock is the pitcher for Doosan. Robert Stock shut out SSG back in April or May. In the first time seeing him, but Robert Stock has a pattern, and when he sees teams for the second time, he gets slammed. Not only that, but he has a whip of 1.50, and he also has a walk ratio of 4.51 per 9 innings. So he's not a pitcher you want to rely on. I'm looking at the first five. You can put my graphic up now. I'm looking at the first five here. I actually made a handy-dandy graphic for it. So if you look at the team run per game in the first five, you see SSG has an advantage over Doosan. If you look at the starting pitcher ERA in the first five, you see that SSG on the left has an advantage. So my projection is 4-1 or 4-2 in the first 5 innings. I highly doubt Doosan's going to be able to get 2 runs on Kim in the first 5. So I like SSG in the first 5, and I'm going to lay the half a run as well. And the odds on this were minus 105. Really good odds for this. So look, if Kim had one bad start where he gave up 4 runs, but if you remove that bad start, he's given up 0, 0, 2, 1, 1 in his last 5 starts. You don't get more consistent than that. He had one bad start, which we can forgive. I like SSG in the first 5, and I'll lay the half run here, because when I do my projections, I do just like I put that graphic up for each matchup. And when you have one team with so many advantages, it's just such a one-way. It's just such a one-way street here. I think this is an easy play. It's a client play that I put out, and that's my free play for the best bet segment of this show this week.
SSG in the first 5, laying the half run. So we got Trig switching series on the fly. We got Tokyo Brandon barking at the graphics department, telling him, put my shit up now. Well, you never know what you're going to get here on Asian Baseball Today. Well, guys, happy to be back with you. It was a fun show, as always. If you enjoyed the show, hop on in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on the slate. And the better way to thank these guys, why not grab some of their packages? We got long-term deals going on. Any of these packages that are priced at $25 or more are half off. Both of these guys have 5% plays loaded. Why buy just the play? Buy the entire month long, a couple weeks long. Hop in and ride with these guys because they're proven cash makers. So, guys, that's going to do it for us. Again, like, subscribe, hop in those comments. We love hearing from you. Tokyo Brandon, always reading them and replying. So, until then, for Tokyo Brandon, for Adam Trigger, I'm Dan Alexander, and we'll see you next time on Asian Baseball Today.
With football around the corner, time to start building up that bankroll. And we want to help by slashing the cost of all daily picks packages priced at $25 or more, including 5% best bets through the end of July. This amazing promotion runs from Tuesday, July 12th to midnight on Sunday, July 31st, and drops the pricing down to $25 daily packages for $12.50, 29 daily combo packages for $14.50, and $35 5% best bets for $17.50. But even better, this is the perfect time to take advantage of our one-day all-access pass. This package locks in the handicapper of your choice for one whole day for only $39, including when they have a 5% top play that usually sells for $35. But during our 50% slash promotion, you get a one-day all-access for only $19.50. We know this business is loaded with competitors and copycats, and we are very proud and extremely excited to be one of, if not, the premier sports betting information provider in North America. Our special discount pricing goes live on Tuesday, runs through the end of the month, does not require a coupon, and is available just by going to your favorite WagerTalk or Sports Memo Handicappers homepage right now.